Well, hello and welcome to Launch Academy. I am so excited that you're in the course with us. So this is the teaching video for Module 1. So let's get started. So as you know, Launch Academy is really all about helping you to use a proven system, a proven structure for you to develop your online courses so you can expand your reach, grow your business, and become a global messenger for an evolving world. That is our hope for you. And our goal is by the time you're done with Launch Academy that you'll have everything you need to build, market, and launch your successful online course and have the system in place to launch as many courses as you want in the future. So you're building literally your online learning curriculum and platform. So as many of you already know or have seen me share in my webinars and my masterclass, we will be focusing on the 4 essential elements of building your successful online course. And those 4, again, are transformative content, focusing on creating a better student experience by having a transformative learning experience for your students. And then enrolling messaging. That's so you can attract more of the right students with messaging that's authentic to you and very enrolling and engaging for people that are reading it. And then effective and converting marketing for filling up your course. These are the strategies and tactics you'll need to use to market your course. Once you have the content and the core messaging in place, then these are all the approaches and tactics you'll use to attract people into your program. And then we'll also be looking at the technology that you'll need, engagement-oriented technology, but also technology that will help you to make it easier for you to manage and launch your course. So that's where we're heading, and this is kind of the general, the general categories. A lot of this stuff will be in different modules and all that, but we'll be covering all 4 of these elements throughout the course. All right, Module 1. Create your customized launch roadmap. And well, all I mean by that is really what's the ground for you as a teacher that's offering online courses. And we really have a few key things that kind of form your customized approach to what your courses will look like, your first launch, and maybe even a second or third course launch. So the intention for Module 1 is to create the proper foundation for your course development process, right? Which is pretty much everything we'll be doing over the next bunch of modules is all around course development at many different levels. And so the 4 components of Module 1 are the 10 key success factors for launching a successful online course. So I've written that for you, and there's a document that you can read as a part of your assignment for Module 1. And then creating your teaching vision statement. That's a key thing for what I consider as a core part of grounding yourself in why you're doing what you're doing, and it's connected to something bigger than just you or even your participants. Establishing your desired online curriculum roadmap for, let's say, the next 18 to 24 months, whatever that is for you. It's really more of a creative process of thinking about what might be other courses beyond this first course that you'll be focused on in Launch Academy. So it doesn't end as just, oh, this is the one course I'm going to do. I'm sure you have other ideas, and it's kind of fun to get creative about what those might be. You're certainly not beholden to them, or there's no requirement that you launch those courses, but it's just good to see where you think your curriculum might go. And then also we'll talk about using the master dashboard that I've created for you to keep you focused and on track with all of the pieces around the creation and the launching of your online course. And so now we'll look at the 10 key success factors for launching your online courses. This is also a document, materials in Module 1, but I thought I'd just go through them very quickly here. So first and foremost, key success factor number 1 is to follow the 4 essential elements model for your course development. Think of that as your kind of blueprint or your roadmap of thinking of what you need to put your attention on, what you need to focus on in those areas of transformative content, enrolling messaging, converting marketing, and engagement-oriented technologies. Keeping that all in mind, it's not hard to focus on them, but to execute on the pieces there'll be some key pieces for you to know what to do as we get to each of those pieces in the course. So the next one, the next success factor is to deeply know the avatar for your course. So that's really key, is that what we're doing differently here in Launch Academy in creating your course is that we're actually starting with who are you creating it for, right? Who is that especially for audience for you in your course, that ideal student? And we really call that ideal student is your avatar profile. It's amalgamation of probably some real people you know, but also you're thinking about who is ideal for my course here. And so when you really know that avatar, so much more can flow from that in terms of your messaging for your course, how you write about it, how you title your course, because you'll be thinking about your avatar. Number 3 in the key success factors is focus on nurturing and growing your community. So wherever you are, if you have an email list, a small one, a big one, you have a social media following with Facebook or Twitter or Instagram, whatever you have, you'll start wherever you start, is you'll want to be thinking about now as you enter Launch Academy, and particularly as you come out of Launch Academy, is how are you nurturing and growing your community? Some people like to call it your list, growing your list, growing your following. I like to think of it as your community. But it is, to a certain degree, growing your email list, growing the followers that you have on Facebook, and that's all part of it. It can be very organic, but you can also get some big jumps by doing some certain list building activities that we'll talk about also in the course. So nurture and grow your community. Number 4 is put your stake in the ground and set a course start date. This might seem really practical, like, wow, that's kind of a really very specific success factor. But I learned this from one of my mentors that really said, when you are in the process of when you've committed to creating your course, people even mention this about an in-person workshop, but when you've committed to the course creation process, is set a date, set a start date for your course, put it on your calendar in the early days here. And it does not have to be at the end of Launch Academy. There's no expectation that you launch your course within weeks or even a month or 2 months after the end of Launch Academy. So you might say here that Launch Academy will be ending at the end of summer. Maybe your course start date is in February of next year, right? You give yourself time to come out of Launch Academy, digest it all, do some more planning, bring in, do some more relationship building with potential partners, and then just push it out there, but set it in date now. Instead of it being like, when I finish or when I get to it, it's like you're putting that stake in the ground right now, and it's pretty powerful. And it lets you do what I call backward scheduling, where then you can begin to look at the things that need to happen, what you're learning in Launch Academy, when those milestones need to happen in preparation for the start of your course. So that's 4. Number 5 in the key success factors is start early in building relationships with potential marketing partners. This is really key. It doesn't mean you have to go all crazy and all out to find partners, but just start thinking about who would you want to put on your list as a potential partner. Who might you start to reach out to when you have a little bit more knowledge and information about your course and your title of your course? So it's just start thinking about them right now. That's really the key task in the first month of the program, is that you're putting them down on your potential list to contact. And then we go into the number 6, which is, it's a kind of a right after number 5, which is start early in looking for your partners. Well, 6 is over communicate with your marketing partners. So those partners who've already said yes to you, as you get deeper in the process of getting committed partners saying, yes, I'll support you in your course launch, then you want to be over communicating with them. And all I mean by over communicating is it's a little bit more than you think is normal or standard. Like if you think just one email is fine, where you give some logistics and some updates, and then that's it, you don't do anything else until you're in the launch campaign, you're in for a rude awakening. People are busy and stretched thin and forget about it. So a lot of times you may need 2 or 3 emails as just reminder emails for what needs to happen with your marketing partners and to remind them of what they've committed to. And it's not, everybody appreciates it. When they say yes, it's fine. Oh, thanks for the reminder. I got it. Great. So over communicating with your partners. Number 7 is allow for learning, growth, and doing what I call an okay job. And what I mean by that is there is so much to know and learn in creating online courses and launching them, a lot of details and deadlines and things like that. So just know that as you go into the first course launch, and maybe it's just a pilot launch where you take the pressure off you and you just want a handful of people, that you're going to be learning and growing in the process. And it's okay to do a B or a B+ job. It does not have to be an A+ job right out of the gate. That's taking off some of the pressure and that perfectionist quality that many of you may have. I know I have. So it's just to kind of reduce some of the intensity and pressure. Number 8 is to trust your creativity. So even though I'm giving you a model and a step-by-step approach, a system to launch, and even very specific examples and templates, still, I really want you to trust your creativity. What might you need to do differently with this template I've given you? Or how would you say something here? Or how would you title your course that feels right to you? So trust that creativity and then weave it in certainly with the best practices of creating an online course. And there's that kind of their balance there. And number 9 is to create your support team. So that's really key. You really want to have people that are supporting you. You can't do this alone. So it's as simple as a virtual assistant. Maybe you already have somebody like that. It could be a web designer. Again, maybe you already have somebody, but you may need to look for somebody if you don't. So there's just a handful of people that you need to really help you execute on your course launch. And so you'll want to be thinking about who those people are and certainly have them in place before you're going into all the key activity of finalizing the materials and such for your course launch. And then number 10 is the last key success factor is to be gentle and compassionate with yourself. This can be an intense process. There can be a lot to know and a lot to learn. There can be, a sense of expectations on you to get things done in a certain way or a certain time. And I just encourage you to really be gentle with yourself, be compassionate with the learning. Maybe there's some mistakes along the way, and that's all okay. It's all part of the learning process, and part of you taking a risk to go and do this means that things may not be super smooth the first time around. And look, I've been in this for 8 years, and there's still stuff that goes wrong and gets wonky, or that I learn something new. So I'm always just try to remind myself to be gentle with myself around the whole launch process. So those are the key success factors. I'd like to now get into a couple of the key pieces that I'm going to ask you to do as an assignment, as an action in Module 1. And the first one is for you to create your teaching vision statement. And your teaching vision statement is simply a short statement of the vision you have for the impact of your teachings or your content and how the world can look with people living and practicing your teachings now and into the future, right? So it's a vision of how you see the world and what's happening in the world around your particular teaching content. And so you've got a document in Module 1, which is your teaching vision statement document that has some instruction there. And it also has some examples, some teaching vision statement examples, and a lot more. There's 2 here, but there's a lot more on that document. And then you can use that to write your own. So some teaching vision statement examples are, we envision a world where we are all aware of the power and impact of our language, so we can take conscious action to relate to ourselves and each other with authenticity and compassionate presence, with the knowingness that we all matter. So this is from a teacher who teaches communication and language skills. Her brand is called Language Alchemy. And so it's really all about that, is really conscious communicating, deep listening, nonviolent communication, and all of that. And there's more examples. I'll just leave, there's another example right here on the slide, but you can also see this example and other examples in your document. So your vision statement document in Module 1 is the definition is that you're going to create a short statement of the vision you have for the impact of your teaching and how the world can look when people are practicing and living that. And then there's some specific instructions in there that I want to show you. Start writing out notes, just let it flow from you. Don't try to craft it too perfectly right out of the gate. Think about what you want to see in the world, say about 10 to 25 years out from now, rather than 3 years from now or even 5 years from now. It's a little further out, so you can see really what's possible if more and more and more and more people are practicing or doing what you're doing, what you're sharing and teaching. what possible change or shift you see for our society or our culture, and then distill your thoughts, ideas, or notes into 1 or 2 sentences that is your vision statement. You really don't want it to be longer than that, because you, in a way, want to be able to almost memorize it. And for somebody reading it, they can read it very quickly and digest it. If it's too long, it's just hard for people to get it. And it's really hard for you to stay connected to it. There's probably just too much in it. And then this vision statement, it relates directly to the concepts, principles, and practices that you'll be teaching. So it's not necessarily your vision statement for your life or your purpose statement for your life. It's really around your teaching. So it might be a little bit narrower in scope than what you might see as sort of a general vision statement for your life. So that's the vision statement. So you'll be completing that in module 1. And then the second piece that I'll have you do is, it's part of, again, this customized launched roadmap. You know, you've got your vision, you're grounded in your vision statement, and now you're going to start to look at, well, what might be some curriculum beyond this first course that I'm imagining, right? So your online curriculum roadmap is a simple outline or mapping of your potential online learning curriculum beyond just your first course, right? So this is a wish list and shouldn't be seen as binding, right? This is just your hope and plan, and hopefully you can live into it, but it certainly can change and evolve over time. So the things that you'll be writing down in your document, in your curriculum roadmap document, are first the possible different courses that you can create. And so you certainly want to start with your idea for your first course, which is likely going to be an introductory experience. So I'm going to encourage everybody in the course to create a 5, 6, or 7 week, maybe an 8 week max online course that is priced in a way that almost anybody can take it. Then, as you think about, maybe there's a longer, more advanced course, or a 3-month experience with you, or a 9-month experience that relates to that same content, going deeper, or maybe it's a slight variation on that content, but you're really excited about that. You could also have another intro course that's on a different track. You may have different learning areas, and you want to have an intro course in this learning area, an intro course in this learning area. So for me, I might have my intro course for purpose, and then my intro course for conscious leadership, right? So I may have both of those. Or for my purpose course, I could have a 3-month program like you see here called the Hero's Path that goes in a lot more depth and purpose and has more accountability and support, that kind of thing. So just put your wish list. You might go like 3 deep. There might be a intro course, and then maybe it's a 2 or 3 month program, and then leading into a year-long program, or let's say a certification program. If you have some very specific content that you feel other people could teach it or coach with it, then you could also create a certification program. And then the timeline is, you want to just kind of, earmark your timeline there for, what for this year, next year, and the year after. Again, we'll look at kind of 18 to 24 months. You don't have to look too much beyond that, because I'm sure a lot will change. So you want to complete that as well. Just be, easy on yourself. It's like, if it doesn't come, just get your main intro course idea and maybe something that you would have after that. So we're now also going to talk about, and this is early as part of the foundation in module 1 of looking at your launch roadmap, is our launch master dashboard. This is something that I've created from all of my experience working with one-on-one with teachers and helping them launch their programs, some pretty well-known and globally recognized authors and teachers. But also all the experience I've had with working with dozens and dozens of aspiring teachers, I realized that everybody really needed a dashboard, a way to look at everything and have it all in one place, so that you could capture the things that you need in one spreadsheet, one big document, one dashboard. So this is your one-stop planning and tracking tool for everything related to your course launch. It is a multi-tab spreadsheet that serves as your master project plan document for your launch. And so, when people come in and first see this document, it can feel a little bit overwhelming because there's all these different tabs, but it's just really organized into different pieces that you need to be thinking about and tracking for your online course launch and campaign into the start of your course. So I'll go through the tabs in a moment. And just so you know, I'm going to do like a high level here, but the tutorial video will go into more depth into the plan, going through the different tabs and kind of describing what I mean by each tab. But just know that this is a document that you can use either as an Excel spreadsheet, or I highly recommend that you use it as a Google Doc and you put it onto Google Drive as a spreadsheet there where people can collaborate with you, can put stuff in there. You can easily share it with your virtual assistant or your team in some way. If you have a business partner or a life partner that's working with you, then you both can have access to it and update it real time in Google Drive. So that's the master dashboard. The tabs that are in the master dashboard, and you're not using all these tabs all the time, right? There'll be different times during the development of your course and the launch of your course where some of these tabs will be more important. So there's a general tab, which is just the general information about your course and what might be going into it and who are some people on your team. Milestones, which is just tracking the key milestones, the important pieces to make sure you're hitting those important development pieces and launch pieces in your course. There's also a master action checklist, and you'll see I've created that as sort of a master list of things that you'll be needing to do. And you don't necessarily have to do all of them, but it is kind of this full list of, oh, okay, here's all the things step by step that I need to do for my launch. Also, marketing partners tab. This is awesome. This is where you can actually just start putting in some names right now of people that you think would be good partners and put in their name and their email address and maybe a phone number. Your marketing plan, and that's sort of pre-filled for you. Metrics, statistics. This tab for your first launch may not be that important, but certainly as you think to, look to launch the next program or you just get more efficient with what you're doing, you'll want to be looking more at what are the metrics for conversions and how many people signed up for my free event, all that. And then potential participants. This might be a tab you might not even use in your introductory online course, but you'll probably use this as you have longer courses and fewer participants in that course. Maybe it's a year-long program, it's expensive, and you have 15 people in your course. This is a good one to track who are potential participants that you're talking with and maybe need to have some more conversations with to encourage them to come into the course. Then your materials/pages tab, that's just to track all of the web addresses, the URLs of all your various pages that you'll be creating. And then your bonuses, there's a tab for you to put in and name some of the bonuses for your course, and then a budget tab as well. So again, some of these, like the budget tab, you may kind of go in there and put in once and then not come back to it for a long time. You may be active in the milestones, very active in the master action checklist, marketing partners, and not needing the other stuff that often. So it seems like a lot, but it's really different times you'll be using different pieces of the dashboard. So I'd like to, before we wrap up with your key actions for Module 1, I'd like to just talk about your mindset as an online teacher. And so I have 4 key pieces for you to think about when you're in the process of developing your course. You're going to be putting yourself out there more, having more of a global reach. So I say the first mindset is to always start with your why. So why are you doing what you're doing with your teaching? What is your vision? What is your mission for your teaching? And that's why I have you create a teaching vision statement, is because it's so important when you ground in that why. And I know most of you know it, I'm sure you know it and feel it, but that sparkles through in your course creation. That sparkles through in your creativity. So really knowing that why and grounding in that why, and even creating a vision statement, if you've never done that, can actually even ground you more. Then deeply know who you're serving and begin there with the creation of your online courses and curriculum, rather than kind of in your own mind of what you think is great and what you want to create. Really think about your avatar, those ideal students that you'd like to draw to you, and what are they concerned about? What do they want? What do they aspire to? And then stay authentic to your message, and then build in the marketing savvy on top of that, not in place of it. This is really important. This is an important piece of how I teach this, is that there can be so many sort of marketing approaches and ways of doing things and ways of writing copy, that if you follow all those things, sometimes it just takes all of your authenticity and all of your specific voice out of it. So I really want you to be staying true to your voice, to your authentic message, and then weave in kind of the template and approaches that I share with you to make sure that there's a balance between doing it in a way that will get a good response and then also authentic to you. And then use your support. Really encourage you to use the support, not only not only here in Launch Academy with me and my team, but also with each other as course participants, even past grads, Launch Academy graduates that are in the Facebook page, and of course, your own team, however small that might, virtual assistant and a web person or a designer, graphic designer, maybe all that you need, maybe plenty. So you want to think about that support. And you can also get that from your partner and from other people that just that care about you, love you, and want to support you. All right, so we're going to complete Module 1's training video with just a review of the actions checklist, things that you will want to start on and complete for Module 1. And that is to complete your teaching vision statement, to complete your online curriculum roadmap, read the 10 key success factors document, because I say a little bit more in there about each of those success factors, review the online course development and delivery flow document that's in there. That's just to show you kind of a little bit of a one-page roadmap of where we're heading with the creation of your course and the development of it. And then download the master dashboard and watch the tutorial video. We do have an Excel spreadsheet, but we'll also provide a link to you where you can go and grab it from Google Docs and then save it on your own Google Drive. And then begin inputting names of potential marketing partners into your master dashboard. That's just to get you to kind of do your first little work in the dashboard, and pretty much, that's an easy one to do, is think of some colleagues or friends of friends who might potentially be a partner and just start putting their names in there. So there you have it. That is the end of the show. And I'm so excited to be launching into this with you with Module 1, and we'll see you on the live calls.